The rain hammered against the window like fists demanding entry. But nothing could have prepared me for the real intruder. I was sprawled naked on my bed in that cramped Brooklyn walk-up, sweat still clinging to my skin from a nightmare that had left me gasping, when the door creaked open, not with thunder, but with the soft click of a lockpick. In that heartbeat, as a stranger's silhouette filled the frame, I realized my vulnerability wasn't just physical. It was the kind that could unravel a lifetime of carefully buried truths. His eyes locked onto mine first, not my body, and in that frozen second, the world narrowed to the electric pull between USA Thief in black hoodie and jeans, rain dripping from his curls, looking no older than 22, with a face that screamed trouble wrapped in quiet desperation. I should have screamed, lunged for the phone, anything but stare back. But something in his gaze held me, recognition. Like he'd seen my soul before I'd even admitted it to myself. "Don't move," he whispered, voice rough like gravel under tires. But it wasn't a threat, it was a plea. And God help me, I obeyed. That night in late October, with the city lights blurring through the downpour, Benjamin Hazem, 25 and still pretending to the world that I was just another straight-laced graphic designer scraping by in New York, felt the first crack in the armor I'd worn since high school. I'd come out to my sister years ago, in a tear-streaked confession over cheap wine in our parents' empty kitchen after Dad's funeral. But to everyone else, I was the reliable guy, the one who fixed friends' laptops and never brought a date to barbecues. Lies built a life. Or so I'd thought. Until Alex, that's what he told me his name was. Later, when the panic ebbed, stepped fully into the room, closing the door with a gentleness that belied his shadowed intent. He didn't grab for my wallet on the nightstand or the laptop humming softly in the corner. Instead, he knelt by the bed, his breath coming in short bursts that fogged the air between us, and picked up the photo frame I'd knocked over in my sleep. It was an old shot of me and my ex, Jake, from college before he'd bailed when things got too real, too queer for his frat boy facade. Alex traced the glass with a finger, his touch lingering like he was reading a map to my regrets. "This you?" he asked, voice low, almost reverent. And when I nodded, throat tight, he set it down and met my eyes again. "Looks like a guy who lost something big." I pulled the sheet up instinctively, heart pounding not just from fear, but from the way his presence filled the room, charging the air with unspoken questions. Who breaks into a stranger's life at 2 a.m. and starts a conversation? But Alex wasn't like the shadows I'd imagined. He was real, flesh and bone, with a faint scar above his lip that caught the lamplight and hazel eyes that flickered with a hunger deeper than theft. "I wasn't going to hurt you," he said, sinking onto the edge of the mattress uninvited, close enough that I could smell the rain on his skin mixed with something earthy, like pine from a life spent running. "Just needed a dry spot. Saw your light on from the fire escape." Brooklyn in autumn was a beast sidewalk slick with leaves and regret, rents climbing faster than hopes for guys like us. I'd moved here 3 years ago, chasing the dream of anonymity after growing up in a small Ohio town where gay was whispered like a curse. My apartment was a third-floor shoebox in Bed-Stuy, walls thin enough to hear the neighbors' arguments. But it was mine, paid for with freelance gigs that left me staring at ceilings too many nights. That photo of Jake, a relic I couldn't trash, a reminder that love could slip away as easily as it arrived. And now this intruder, this Alex, was sifting through the debris without asking. He leaned back against the headboard, casual as if we were old friends. But his hands trembled slightly. Thieves didn't shake unless the score was personal. "You got anything to drink?" he asked, glancing at the empty beer bottles on my dresser. I pointed to the mini fridge in the corner, and he fetched 2, twisting the caps with his teeth before handing me one. The cold glass grounded me, and I took a swig, the bitterness mirroring the twist in my gut. What's your story? Then, I managed. Voice steadier than I felt. Fire escape philosopher. A ghost of a smile cracked his face, softening the sharp angles of his jaw. Something like that. Name's Alex. Been crashing where I can since my folks kicked me out last year. He paused, eyes dropping to the sheet barely covering me. 22. If you're wondering. And yeah, I know stupid kid playing Robin Hood in the wrong neighborhood. But there was no bravado. Just raw edges. The kind that came from too many nights on park benches or subway cars. Kicked out. The words hit like a punch. I knew that script by heart. The parental ultimatum wrapped in Bible verses or tough love. We talked, or rather, he spilled while the rain softened to a patter. Alex from Queens, son of a cop and a nurse, who'd discovered his own truths in a high school locker room kiss that went viral in whispers. His dad had found the texts, the ones to a boy from art class. And the fallout was swift. You're not my son anymore. So he ran, bouncing between shelters and odd jobs, picking locks not for greed, but survival. I saw your window, he said, curtains open like an invitation. Figured you'd be out cold. Didn't expect this. His gaze flicked down again. Appreciative, not leering. And heat flushed my cheeks despite the chill. By dawn, the storm had passed, leaving the city washed clean, but my mind a whirlwind. Alex hadn't stolen a damn thing except maybe an hour of my sleep and a chunk of my guarded heart. He stood to leave as gray light crept in. Hoodie zipped tight. Thanks for not calling the cops, he murmured, pausing at the door. You're different, Ben. I can tell. How? I wanted to ask, but he was gone, slipping down the fire escape like smoke. I lay there, naked still under the tangled sheets, staring at the photo frame, now slightly askew. Different. The word echoed, stirring something dormant, a spark of possibility in the ashes of caution. Days blurred into a haze of work and what-ifs. My freelance deadline loomed. A logo for some hipster coffee shop in Williamsburg. But my sketches came out jagged, infused with hazel eyes and rain-slicked curls. I told myself it was adrenaline, nothing more. But when I passed the bodega on my block and bought that same cheap beer, I scanned the shadows for a familiar silhouette. New York was full of ghosts. Why did this one haunt me? By Friday, the itch became unbearable. I found myself on the fire escape after dark, peering into alleyways that smelled of garbage and promise. Half hoping, half dreading I'd spot him. He appeared like fate scripted it, leaning against the brick wall across the street. Hood up, sharing a smoke with no one. Our eyes met through the drizzle, starting up again. And he straightened, flicking the butt away. No words. He just nodded toward the corner bar. O'Malley's. A dive with sticky floors and zero pretense. I grabbed my jacket, heart slamming, and followed. Inside, the jukebox wailed some Springsteen ballad about broken highways, and we claimed a booth in the back, knees brushing under the table. Couldn't stay away. I teased, but my voice cracked. Alex's laugh was low, genuine, guilty. You. Over whiskeys that burned going down. He opened up more stories of crashing on friends' couches until they tired of it. The gnawing hunger that led to bad choices like mine. He was an artist, too. Street murals under bridges when he could snag supplies. Tagging walls with symbols of defiance. Intertwined hearts pierced by thorns. Rainbows fractured but fierce. It's not about the money, he admitted, tracing the rim of his glass. It's about taking back what's yours when the world's hell-bent on stripping it away. His words mirrored my own silent battles, the freelance gigs that paid bills but starved the soul. The family back home who Skyped with polite distance, never asking about that special someone. Jake had been my one reckless dive into truth. A summer fling that ended in his panic and my retreat. But Alex, He saw through the cracks without judgment, his hand finding mine across the table in a squeeze that sent sparks up my arm. "You're holding back," he said softly, thumb stroking my knuckles. "I get it. But what if this is the heist worth pulling?" We stumbled back to my place as the bar closed. The city a blur of neon and noise. No fire escape this time. He walked right through the front door, bold as daylight. Clothes shed like old skins in the hallway. And when we collided on the bed, it was messy. Urgent a collision of bodies and confessions. His skin was warm against the cool sheets. Scars mapping stories on his ribs that he whispered between kisses. A fight with his brother. A night in juvie for tagging the precinct. I traced them with lips and fingers, tasting salt and freedom. My own vulnerabilities laid bare not in fear, but invitation. Morning brought coffee brewed strong, and awkward silences broken by laughter over burnt toast. Alex stayed through the weekend, sketching on my sketch pad while I worked, his lines bleeding into mine until our worlds intertwined on paper. He drew me first naked in profile, not objectified but honored, shadows playing over muscle and memory. "This is what I stole that night," he said, handing it over with a shy grin. "Your light. The part you hide." But paradise in Brooklyn was fragile. Monday hit like a freight train. My inbox exploded with client demands. And Alex vanished to handle something, promising to return. Hours stretched into worry, my mind spinning worst-case scenarios. Cops, rival crews, the endless pull of the streets. By evening, he slipped back in, bruised knuckles and a split lip, dropping a wad of cash on the counter like contraband. "Don't ask," he muttered. But I did, pulling him onto the couch where truths spilled again. Another break-in. This one gone south. A Mark who'd fought back. "I can't keep doing this, Ben." "But what else is there?" The question hung heavy, mirroring my own crossroads. I'd landed a steady gig at a design firm in Manhattan. Entry-level, but stable. The kind that whispered normalcy. Yet staring at Alex, wild and wounded, I saw the mirror to my caged self, the boy who dreamed of murals instead of mortgages. We argued that night, voices rising over the hum of traffic below, him accusing me of playing safe, me begging him to dream bigger than survival. "Love isn't a heist," I shouted, tears hot. "It's not stealing scraps, it's building something real." He stormed out, doors slamming like finality, leaving the apartment echoing with ghosts. Weeks dragged, each day a grind of subway commutes and forced smiles at the office water cooler. My boss, a sharp-dressed woman named Carla with a no-nonsense bob, noticed the lag in my work. "Spill. Haze," she said over lunch at the falafel truck. I hesitated. Coming out at work was a line I'd towed, but never crossed, but her eyes held no judgment. Just the quiet solidarity of someone who'd walked similar paths. "Guy troubles," I admitted finally. And she nodded, sharing her own story of a wife met in the 90s when it could have cost her career. "Fight for the messy ones, Ben. The clean ones bore you to death." Her words fueled me, but the city felt emptier without Alex's chaos. I scoured alleys for his tags, found one on a warehouse wall, a heart with my initials etched inside, thorns blooming into roses. It pulled me to Queens one rainy Saturday, tracing leads from barflies who'd seen him, a squat in Astoria, whispers of a crew planning a big score. Dread coiled in my gut. This wasn't romance. It was roulette. I found the building, a derelict shell graffitied with despair, and climbed the stairs, heart in throat. He was there, packing a duffel by a flickering bulb, surrounded by shadows that smelled of mildew and menace. "Ben, what the hell?" His face lit with shock, then softened to that pull I craved. We tumbled into argument again, but this time laced with desperation, me pleas for him to quit the life, his fear that without it, he'd be nothing. You think I want this? He yelled, slamming the bag down. Every lock I pick is me screaming back at the world that tried to erase me. And then, in the raw heat, we were kissing, fierce and forgiving, bodies pressing against the cold wall as if friction could forge a future. But the crew burst in mid-embrace of three guys, rough and reeking of entitlement, eyes narrowing at the interruption. Who's the pretty boy? One sneered, and Alex shoved me behind him. Stance protective. Chaos erupted, fists flying, a knife glinting in the low light. I grabbed a loose pipe from the floor, swinging wild to cover Alex's flank, the clang echoing like war cries. We fought back to back, a blur of grunts and blood, until the leader pinned Alex. Blade to throat. Last chance. Kiditch the tail or bleed. Time slowed. Alex's eyes met mine. A lifetime flashing, that first naked stare. Stolen beers. Sketches shared in dawn light. He's not a tail. Alex gasped. He's everything. With a surge, I cracked the pipe across the guy's wrist, the knife clattering free. We bolted then, duffel abandoned, tumbling downstairs and into the street where sirens wailed distant. Panting under a street lamp, bruises blooming. We laughed manic, alive before the weight settled. I can't go back, Alex said, leaning into me. Not to them. Not to running. We walked the long miles to Brooklyn, hands linked, plotting not heists but horizons, him enrolling in community art classes I'd fund with my paycheck, me pitching bolder designs infused with his fire. It wasn't easy nights of doubt, calls home where mom finally asked about that nice boy you mentioned, tentative steps into pride parades hand in hand. But in the quiet moments, tracing scars on each other's skin, we built something unbreakable, not stolen, but earned. 1 year on, in that same apartment now alive with canvases and laughter, Alex proposed not with rings, but a mural on our bedroom wall, two figures entwined under stars, naked and unashamed, with a single word arched above, ours. I said yes through tears, the city outside humming approval. What he stole that rainy night wasn't gold or gadgets. It was my walls, my fears, leaving space for love to rush in. And in giving them away, I found myself whole, seen, forever changed. The proposal lingered in the air like the scent of fresh paint. But life didn't pause for happily ever afters. We dove into the grind of building ours. Alex's first art class a Thursday night at the local community center in Bushwick, where graffiti kings rubbed elbows with wide-eyed beginners. I dropped him off, kissing him quick in the truck of my beat-up Honda. Finally splurged on wheels with my rays and watched him saunter in. Backpack slung low, curls tamed under a beanie. Don't wait up, he called. But I did, pacing the apartment, sketching logos that twisted into abstract hearts. He burst through the door at midnight, eyes alight, charcoal smudges on his cheeks like war paint. Ben, you gotta see this. He unrolled a massive sheet of butcher paper, a chaotic explosion of color, urban decay birthing rainbows, fists unclenching into doves. Our story, raw and riotous, splashed across the canvas. We made love on the living room floor that night, surrounded by his creation, bodies sinking like brushstroke slow builds to fervent peaks, whispers of mine against sweat-damp skin. But shadows clung. His old crew didn't forget the betrayal. A week later, my phone buzzed with a blocked number. Voice distorted. Tell your pretty boy the debt's due, or we collect from you. Ice flooded my veins. I didn't tell Alex, not yet, burying it under takeout Thai and movie marathons. But paranoia crept in. Locks double-checked. Windows scanned. Every alley a potential ambush. Carla noticed at work, pulling me aside during a team lunch. You're jumpy. Hayes. Spill or I'll assign you the boring accounts. Over falafel wraps in the park. I cracked the break-in. The love. The threat hanging like smog. She listened. Fierce empathy in her eyes. Sounds like you've got a guardian angel and a devil on your tail. Get a restraining order. Loop in the cops, but quietly. And Ben, lean on us. Your family here. Family. The word warmed the chill. And that afternoon, I filed the report at the precinct. A stone's throw from where Alex's dad once patrolled. The officer, a burly guy with a rainbow pin on his lanyard, nodded understanding. We've seen this before. Keep eyes open. Call if shadows move. Alex found out over dinner. Chopsticks pausing midair. You what? Hurt flickered. Then resolve. No more secrets. Ben, we're in this. We fortified. He ghosted his old contacts. I installed a cheap security cam. Nights turned vigilant. But intimacy deepened slow dances in the kitchen to Nina Simone. His head on my shoulder. Murmuring dreams of gallery shows and road trips to the Grand Canyon. You make me believe in tomorrows, he said once. Fingers laced with mine under the covers. Thanksgiving loomed. My first without the Ohio pilgrimage since Dad's passing. Mom called. Voice tentative over the line. Bring your friend. Honey. Alex. Right. We'd love to meet him. Shock rippled. Last year's he's just a roommate had evolved in my emails. Hints dropped like breadcrumbs. You sure? I asked. And her laugh was soft. Life's short. Ben. Dad would have wanted you happy. Tears pricked as I hung up. Relaying to Alex over pie from the corner bakery. His face paled. Meet the folks. After everything. We drove west in a rental. The highway unspooling like a lifeline. Autumn leaves blazing crimson and gold. Mom hugged us at the door. Her embrace fierce. Dad's old recliner waiting like a truce. Dinner was awkward at first, small talk over turkey. Alex's knee bouncing under the table, but Mom's stories of her wild youth. The sister chiming in with embarrassing kid tales. Thawed the ice. So, how'd you two meet? She asked. Eyes twinkling. Alex shot me a grin. The thief's mischief returning. Broke into his heart. Ma'am. Clean getaway. Laughter broke the dam. And by pie. Hands were held openly. Toasts raised to new chapters. Driving back under star-strewn skies. Alex's head lolled on my shoulder. That wasn't so bad. No. It wasn't. But back in Brooklyn. Reality bit. A brick through our window at 3 a.m. Shards glittering like accusations. Note taped to the rock. Pay up or pay. Alex's face hardened as we swept glass. But I saw the fear. We're ending this, I said, dialing the cop from before. The sting operation was Carla's idea. Use my design skills for fake invites to a big score meet. Lure them in. Alex balked. But desperation won. We staged it in an abandoned loft in Red Hook. Wired for sound. Me posing as the nervous financier in a suit that itched. They came, 3 shadows slinking in. Demands barked, but backup swarmed. Cuffs clicking like punctuation. As they dragged the leader away. He spat at Alex. Traitor faggot. The slur landed. But Alex stood tall. My hand in his. Lover. He corrected. Voice steady. And free. Aftermath was paperwork and therapy sessions. Alex unpacking trauma with a counselor who got it. Me learning to voice fears instead of bottling. Christmas came soft. Tree strung with lights and ornaments from thrift shops. Gifts wrapped in newsprint. For him. A set of pro paints. For me. A leather-bound sketchbook etched with "Our heist continues." We made a pact under the mistletoe, no more running. Only running toward. Spring bloomed defiant. Alex's mural catching a local blog's eye. Leading to a group show in Chelsea. Opening night. Gallery buzzing with critics and queers in equal measure. His piece hung central, stolen glances. Us abstracted in oils. Naked souls intertwined. He sold Ito, a collector who wept. Seeing his own story. Champagne flowed. Toasts to resilience. And in the corner, away from lights, Alex pulled me close. Told you we'd build something. We did. Brick by stolen brick. Love, the greatest theft of all. Summer heat wave gripped the city like a fever dream. Air thick with asphalt shimmer and street vendor sizzles. Alex's buzz from the show carried us into lazy days picnics in Prospect Park, where we'd sprawl on blankets, feeding each other grapes while kids chased frisbees nearby. No stares. No whispers. New York had claimed us as its own. But success bred envy. A week after the sale, an email pinged my inbox, anonymous. Subject: your boys passed. Attached: grainy photos, Alex mid-tag. Younger. Wilder. With tags that screamed gang ties. My stomach dropped. I confronted him over iced coffee on the stoop. Screen thrust forward. What is this? Hurt flashed before guilt. Ben. It's old. Before us. I told you not all of it. I cut in. Voice sharp. The fight spilled onto the sidewalk. Neighbors peeking from windows. Words like knives, trust shattered. Secrets hoarded. He stormed off to the studio. I to work. Pounding keys on a pitch that bled frustration. Carla called me out in the break room. You're off your game. Kid. What's eating you? Over vending machine chips. I unloaded the photos. The fear that his past could drag us under. She sighed. Wise. Past is prologue. Ben. But if it's poisoning now, face it head on. Talk. Don't accuse. Her advice simmered as I left early. Flowers and hand daisies. His favorite. Simple and stubborn. I found him at the community center. Easel splashed with rage. Canvas a storm of blacks and reds. Alex. I said soft. Setting blooms by his palette. He turned. Jaw set. But eyes softening. We talked there. Amid paint fumes and half-finished dreams, him admitting the tags were more than survival. A cry for belonging in a world that rejected him. I was angry. Ben. At Dad. At myself. But you. You're my redemption. Tears mixed with turpentine as we embraced. The canvas forgotten. Forgiveness wasn't linear. Trust rebuilt in layers. Like varnish on wood. We joined a support group for queer couples navigating trauma. Thursdays in a church basement that smelled of coffee and candle wax. Stories shared, one man's coming out leading to disownment. Another's partner lost to hate. Alex spoke haltingly at first, then poured out the break-in that birthed us. The crew's shadow. He saved me, he said, squeezing my hand. Not from them, but from me. Applause rippled. Cathartic. And on the drive home, we pulled over by the East River, making love in the back seat. Stars winking approval. Bodies affirming what words couldn't. Fall brought change, my promotion to lead designer. Alex's solo exhibit invite from a Soho gallery. Prep consumed us late nights mocking up layouts. Him wrestling canvases till dawn. But joy threaded through. Weekend getaways to the Catskills. Hiking trails where we'd collapse by streams. Stripping down to swim. Naked and unburdened. Remember that first night? He'd tease. Water beating on his skin. You. All exposed. Me the villain. I'd pull him close. Murmuring. Hero now? Kisses deepening till ripples carried our laughter. Yet cracks widened elsewhere. Mom's health scary a fall. Broken hip yanked us back to Ohio. Hospital vigils. Her room sterile and beeping. Alex charming nurses with sketches while I held her hand. Whispering assurances. He's a keeper. She rasped. Eyes on him. Recovery stretched weeks. We stayed. turning the guest room into a studio wing. One night, as snow dusted the windows, Dad's old trunk unearthed letters to Mom. Pre-marriage, confessing doubts about fitting the mold. He struggled too. I told Alex later. Over Coco. Never said a word. Empathy bridged generations. Our love a bridge over silences. Back in New York, reinvigorated, Alex's show loomed. Opening night frenzy, tuxes rented. Nerves electric. Gallery thrummed collectors sipping Prosecco. Flashes popping. His pieces commanded walls, vulnerable entry. A door ajar revealing shadowed forms. The real theft. Hearts mid-swipe. Tender and turbulent. Critics murmured approval. One buying two on site. Amid the whirl, Alex pulled me to a quiet alcove. Couldn't without you. Our kiss was public. Unapologetic. Cheers erupting like fireworks. But triumph soured fast. A reviewer, pen dripping venom, outed Alex's criminal youth in print. Twisting tags into thug narrative. Us into tabloid fodder. Calls flooded, gallery backlash. Client hesitations. Alex withdrew. Studio door barred. Canvases blank. I raged internally privilege of straight passing past biting us but channeled it. Pitching counter stories to queer mags. Carla rallying firm support. We're not hiding. I told him. Breaking through one dawn. Let them see the truth, survivors. Lovers. Artists. He emerged changed. Fiercer. Channeling hurt into a new series, Reclaimed Shadows. We fought back interviews where he owned every scar. Me beside him. Hand in his. Public shifted, allies amplified. Sales spiked. Pride that June. We marched. Rainbows on sleeves. His mural flowed a beacon. In the crowd's roar. He yelled over noise. Marry me for real. I nodded. Choking yes. Confetti raining like blessings. Wedding planning wove whimsy and weight, vows penned on canvas. Rings etched with thorns to roses. Ceremony in the park. Under oaks. Mom beaming from wheelchair. Sister officiating with teary flare. Vows exchanged, I steal your fears. You mine my doubts together. Unbreakable. Reception spilled into O'Malley's. Toast raucous. Dances till dawn. Honeymoon in Provincetown. Beaches where we walked naked at dusk. Waves lapping promises. Life post-vows deepened roots. Adoption talks for a kid someday. Alex teaching workshops. Me launching a queer design collective. Echoes of that naked night lingered. A talisman of beginnings. What he stole was my isolation. Gifting Connection a heist of hearts. Eternally ours. Autumn leaves crunched underfoot as we navigated the next chapter. The city cooling into crisp resolve. Our collective took off queer artists collaborating on murals for community centers. Alex leading with infectious passion. I'd watch him from the scaffold's base. Paint-flecked and commanding. Directing splashes of color that transformed gray walls into anthems. Your turn. He'd call. Tossing a roller. And I'd join. Our laughter echoing as hues blended his bold strokes meeting my precise lines. Much like us. But domesticity bred its beasts. Money tightened with the collective's startup costs. Freelance dried up amid economic dips. Arguments flared over budgetsome advocating caution. Him pushing risks. We can't play scared forever. He'd snap. Eyes flashing old fire. One night. Over spaghetti splattered like abstract art. It boiled over. Scared. You're the one who bolted at the first sign of real stakes. I hurled back. The crew's ghost invoked. Silence fell heavy. Forks clattering. He left for the couch. Back turned. And I tossed in bed. Regret gnawing. Morning brought coffee truce. Apologies murmured over mugs. We're good at breaking in. I said. But staying. That's the art. Therapy helped couples sessions where we unpacked triggers. His abandonment wounds clashing with my control freakery. Progress came slow, date nights enforced. No phones dinners where stories flowed unchecked. He shared a buried memory first crush. A neighbor boy stolen by family moved tears tracing cheeks as I held him. Vulnerability bonded us tighter. Intimacy reignited in candlelit explorations. Bodies mapping forgiveness. Winter holidays tested joy's edges. Mom's hip mended, but Dad's absence loomed larger. We hosted a makeshift tree trimming, inviting Carla and group friends. Laughter filled the apartment, ornaments hung crooked. Eggnog spiked generous. Alex gifted me a custom frame, that first sketch of naked me. Now gilded. Evolving. He whispered. My present, tickets to Berlin's Queer Art Biennale. Our heist goes global. Hugs lingered. Family forged in festivity. New year dawned ambitious. The Biennale trip was magic cobblestone streets. Galleries pulsing with radical visions. We wandered hand in hand. His critiques sharp. My sketches frantic. One night, in a dimly lit bar overlooking the spree, he proposed a twist, adopt. Make it official. The word hung. Profound. Back home. Paperwork loomed, home studies. Interviews, but excitement bubbled. We prepped the nursery corner. Painting walls soft blue. Debating names over ultrasounds we'd one day hold. Spring brought blooms and blows. A kid entered our orbit, Jamie. 12. Foster system weary. Spotted at Alex's workshop. Shy with spiked hair and guarded eyes. He sketched monsters that hid tenderness. We mentored casual at first, extra supplies. Park hangs, but connection deepened. Agency called months later, interest in fostering. Heartstrings pulled taut. Home visit passed with flying colors, our walls a testament to love's layers. Jamie moved in tentative. Duffel small as his trust. Parenting crashed like waves, midnight anxieties. School runs amid traffic snarls. Jamie's nightmares echoed Alex's past wakes, screaming of losses past. We'd rock him gentle. Stories spun of thieves who turned heroes. School teased his two dads. But we armed him, pride stickers on binders. Talks on standing tall. Progress peaked his first hug unprompted. A drawing of us three under rainbows. Family heist. He titled it. Crayon bold. Summer sizzled with growth. Collective mural for Pride Parade float won acclaim. Jamie helping paint. Face alight. But storm clouds gathered, anonymous letters arrived. Slurs scrawled. Echoing the crew's venom. Unfit pervs raising that kid. Fear chilled. We upped security. Looped the agency. Investigation traced to a bitter ex-crew member. Out on parole. Court dates loomed. Testimonies raw, Alex reliving streets. Me vowing protection. Judge ruled swift, restraining order. Case closed. Relief washed. But scars lingered. Fall harvest yielded fruits. Jamie's adoption finalized in a courtroom sunbeam. Papers signed amid tears. Party followed, park picnic. Cake smeared with glee. Vows renewed, casual. We stole a son. Gained a legacy. Nights now 3-bed tucked. Stories shared till yawns won. Intimacy shifted, stolen moments post-bedtime. Quiet and profound. Reaffirming us amid chaos. Winter wrapped us warm. Jamie's first holiday as ours. Cookies baked lopsided. Lights strung festive. Mom visited. Grandma title fitting natural. Spoiling with quilts and tales. Alex's gallery show cycled new, inherited shadows. Pieces on legacy. Jamie's influence splashed vivid. Sold out. Critics praising depth. One eve. Snow falling soft. We three built a snowman, carrot nose crooked. Scarf hours. Laughter rang. Pure. Life's tapestry wove on, challenges met. Joys seized. That initial theft. Catalyst for abundance. Love multiplying, not dividing. In Jamie's eyes, we saw futures bright, hearts full, eternally entwined. Puberty's storm hit Jamie like a Brooklyn squall. 13 now and testing bounds with eye rolls and slammed doors. School crushes complicated his first on a classmate. Boy or girl undecided. Confusion mirroring our early days. We navigated gentle, books on fluidity. Talks over pizza where Alex shared locker room nerves. Labels are just starters. He'd say, find what fits. Jamie nodded. But turmoil brewed. A fight erupted over a sleepover denied. Accusations of controlling like mom's ex. Guilt stung me, caution clashing with Alex's leniency. We tag-teamed parenting books. Group therapy for families like ours. Progress, family game nights. Board battles dissolving tension into giggles. But external winds howled. Collective faced funding cuts. City budget acts swinging. Grants denied. Donors wary post-scandal echoes. Late nights haggled numbers. Stress etching lines on our faces. We started with nothing. Alex reminded. We'll scrape through. A lifeline emerged, National Queer Arts Foundation grant. My proposal clinching it, narrative of resilience. Murals as monuments. Funds flowed. Projects bloomed. Jamie pitched in summers. His designs fresh youth voice amplifying. Pride that year. His speech on stage. Mic gripped tight. My dad's taught me to steal back my story. Cheers thundered. Our pride swelling oceans deep. Vacation beckoned. Road trips south. Appalachian trails winding green. Tent pitched by creeks. Stars blanketing nights. Jamie fished clumsy. Alex taught knots. I chronicled in sketches. Bonfire tales turned confessional Alex's running days. My Ohio closets. Jamie's foster ghosts. Bonds forged in flames. Unbreakable. One dawn. Skinny dipping in a hidden pool. Naked as that fated night. We splashed free echoes of beginnings and splashes. Fall classes resumed. Jamie's art teacher raving. Potential scouted for Youth Expo. But teen angst peaked, a party bust. Underage sip discovered. Grounding followed. Trust frayed. You don't get it. He yelled. I'm not a kid anymore. Door slam reverberated. We gave space. Then bridged with Walk City Blocks therapy. Ice cream apologies. We worry cause we love. I said. He hugged sudden. Fierce. I know. Sorry. Winter holidays glittered complication. Grandma's visit overlapped a storm power out. Candles flickering stories. Jamie came out casual over cocoa. I like guys. I think. Or both. Whatever. Hugs enveloped. Casual as snowflakes. Proud of you. Alex murmured. Eyes misty. Gift exchange heartfelt. Jamie's handmade frames. Our custom skate deck etched, family forever. Spring thawed tensions. Expo loomed. Jamie's Paisea, fractured rainbow mending stole show. Scholarship whispers. We beamed sidelined. Hands clasped. But health scare struck. Alex's chest pains during a mural lift. Heart stopping. Tests clear stress. Doc said but wake up blared. Lifestyle shifts, yoga mornings. Veggie stir fries. Check-ins tender. Don't leave me. I whispered bedside. Never. He vowed. Kiss ceiling. Summer sizzled opportunity. Collective partnered with schools. Workshops exploding. Jamie interned. Confidence blooming. Family camping redux. Lakeside lazy. Evenings. Alex and I stole moments porch swings. Fingers laced. Dreams murmured. Adoption was the best heist. He said. Laughter soft. Love deep. Fall winds carried change. Jamie's high school acceptance. Art magnet elite. Pride swelled. But empty nest pangs nipped. Date nights revived fancy dinners. Dancing close. Intimacy reignited. Exploratory. Reaffirming. One night. Candles aglow. He traced my scars literal. Figurative. You're my anchor. Kisses trailed. Slow burn to blaze. Winter wrapped reflective. Holidays hybrid. Ohio trek. Then city bash. Mom's stories evolve, dad's hidden letters reread. Parallels drawn. Jamie's crush blossom mutual. First date, nerves coached. New Year's Eve. Rooftop toast to thefts that give. Life cycled. Challenges conquered. Joys amplified. From naked intrusion to nested love. Our story scripted, resiliency a testament. Tenderly told. Adolescence's tempests raged fiercer as Jamie hit 15. Growth spurts stretching limbs and attitudes. Crushes deepened to Hardakeshi's bow. Tyler. Sweet but skittish. Ghosting after a school dance scandal. Jamie withdrew. Hoodie fortress. Grades slipping. We intervened soft. Therapy slots booked. Family hikes enforced. Pain's part of the package. Alex shared over trail mix. His own heartbreaks bared. Jamie listened. Walls cracking. How'd you know Ben was it? Felt like homecoming. Alex replied. Glancing my way. Eyes met. Spark eternal. Collective thrived amid turmoil. National tour booked, murals popping in Philly. DC. Logistics daunted. But adrenaline surged. Road weary. Hotel nights blurred city lights and late calls home. Jamie held fort with sitters. Updates texting emojis. One Philly Eve. Post unveil. Alex pulled me to the Schuylkill banks. Miss Thesis. Kiss under bridges. River whispering approvals. Back home. Jamie's rebound bloomed. Art camp scholarship. Summer away, forging independence. Drop-off teary as backpack stuffed. Ours hearts hollow. Letters flew, sketches enclosed. Stories of cabin crushes. We filled voids volunteering LGBTQ Youth Center. Mentoring stories like ours. One kid. Echo of young Alex. Tagged walls tentative. We guided. Gentle. Fall foliage framed Jamie's return. Tanned and transformed. Tales tumbled. First kiss under stars. Identity puzzles pieced. High school hazing hit, soon slurs scrawled on locker. Anonymous. Rage boiled. We marched to principal. Demands firm. Assembly followed. Anti-bully pledge. Jamie's voice amplified in school paper op-ed. Visibility's my weapon. He declared. Our pride fierce. Winter chill brought warmth. Holiday lights strung early. Baking marathons yielding gingerbread heist stolen bites. Laughter loud. Mom's annual visit overlapped a snow day. Fort built indoors. Snowball fights pillow soft. Jamie's gift, custom comicus as super thieves. Capes rainbow. Tears pricked. Love. Illustrated. Spring sprung scandals. Collective faced plagiarism, claims rival artist cribbing designs. Legal tangle knotted. Funds frozen. Nights poured affidavits. Stress simmering. Jamie sensed. Pitching in, teen sleuth scouring online trails. Evidence compiled. Case one swift. Vindication sweet. Team heist. He grinned. High fives all around. Summer scorched ambitions. Jamie's expo repeat. Peace evolving rainbow now armored. Resilient. Sold to museum. Buzz electric. We celebrated Coney Island. Cyclone twists mirroring thrills. Alex and I stole boardwalk walks. Cotton candy kisses. Whispers of baby too. Dreams danced. Possibilities pondered. Fall classes challenged. AP art load. Tyler Reddick's awkward. Breakup texts gutted. Ice cream vigils. Pep talks potent. Next one's better. I promised. Hugging tight. Therapy tuned resilience. Boundaries drawn. Dates coached. Confidence key. Authenticity armor. Winter holidays hybrid again trained to Ohio. Blizzards bonding. Dad's trunk yielded more journal entries. Veiled longings. He was brave in silence. Mom reflected. Jamie absorbed. Own journal started. Pages filling private. New year resolved bold. Family packed monthly adventures. No grudges held. Life's palette mixed pains pigmented. Joys vivid. From stolen glance to shared saga. Our narrative nested. Nurturing new chapters. 16 stormed in seismic. Jamie's frame filling doorways. Voice deepening debates. Activism ignited school GSA president. Rallies rallied. We chauffeured. Signs waving. Chants chanting. Pride march. Hymn leading contingent. Megaphone mighty. Love steals nothing but fear. Crowd roared. Our hearts burst. Collective crested waves. Documentary pitched. Our origin tale scripted. Filming frenzy cameras capturing that first apartment. Recreations raw. Alex vulnerable on lens. Naked truths bared metaphor. Premiere loomed. Nerves knotted. Jamie's romance reignited new beau. Micah. Artist kindred. Double dates ensued, gallery hops. Pizza debates. Approval grew. But cautions whispered, pace it. Protect heart. Dance permission granted. Curfew curved. Midnight pickup. Starry-eyed Grincialth's glow. Ours echoed. Fall faltered finance. Doc budget ballooned. Grant's gap gaping. Side hustles surged Alex portraits. Me merch designs. Exhaustion edged. Arguments ignited over time. Balance. Babe. I'd plead. Truce in therapy. Date jars drawn. Slips suggesting spontaneity. Winter wrapped wonders. Holidays heightened. Ohio feast. Micah invited tentative. Mom charmed. Toast tender. Snowshoe treks. Jamie and Beau lagging. Giggles trailing. Gift exchange gleamed. Alex's bespoke easel. My vintage camera. Jamie's playlist. Our soundtrack. Spring scandalized school. Micah outed harshly. Jamie defending fierce fistfight followed. Suspension stung. Mediation messy. But solidarity solidified. We lawyered up. Settlement schooling admin. Advocacy's action. Jamie affirmed. Fire forged. Summer's sojourn serene. Cape Cod cottage. Waves welcoming. Bodyboarding bonds. Beach bonfires burning bridges to past pains. Micah joined week 2. Tense tandem trust tested. Talks transparent. Evenings. Alex and I porch perched. Wine warming vows renewed. Fall fortified futures. Jamie's college scouts RSD whispers. Portfolio polished. Applications anxious. Essays eloquent on identity theft reclaimed. Acceptances trickled. Joy jubilant. Winter wove wisdom. Doc premiered Sundance bound. Buzz building. Red carpet rehearsals ridiculous ducks try-ons. Tie tugs. Jamie hyped. Posters plastered room. New year toasted transitions. Life layered lush trials textured. Triumphs textured. Stolen beginnings birthed boundless beauty. Our heist heroic hymn. 17 shimmered sophisticated. Jamie's senior year symphony of applications and auditions. RISD letter golden envelope gleamed. Acceptance danced. Scholarships sweetened. Packing pangs pinched dorm dreams bittersweet. Proud doesn't cover. Alex choked. Hug heroic. Collective canonized. Doc Oscar buzz. Interviews inundating. Sundance spotlight seared snowy Park City. Panels packed. Q&A raw. That night changed everything. Alex shared. Hand mine. Standing ovation surged. Tears triumphant. Jamie's Micah milestone. Prom proposed. Corsage coordinated. Tux fittings fatherly. Photos post perfect. Midnight after party. Dawn pickup tales tumbled. Love's language learned. Fall faded fast. College drop-off dawn drive. Providence pretty. Room rigged rainbow. Goodbyes gut wrench. Empty nest echoed. But emails effused classes captivating. Crushes curious. Winter warmed ways. Holidays homecoming, Jamie jetting. Feast festive. Mom's health hail. Toasts to transitions. Gift, custom quilt. Patches our stories sewn. Spring surprised serendipity. Collective commissioned mural MOM permanent. Prestigious. Scaffold sword. Strokes symbolic. Unveil gala glamorous. Toasts to tenacity. Summer sabbatical, Europe Echo Paris ateliers. Rome ruins. Alex sketched streets. I snapped souls. Jamie visited midpoint. Euro jaunt joining Eiffel kisses. Colosseum confessions. Fall filled fast. Jamie's freshman flair, Dean's list. Bow break benign. Visits ventured. Dorm dives deep. Winter wrapped winds. Doc award season, noms nodded. Win whispered. Red carpet redux. Jamie front row fabulous. Life's ledger balanced losses lessons. Gains grace. From fractured entry to fortified family. Our theft transcendental. Timeless.